First thing is to do a little bit exercise, and as I know, I'm representing the deep state, as I've heard during the past years, and I know everything you are thinking about, and I know many of you are using social media, and be honest, I know if you're lying. Raise your hand when you opened your first or second or third profile, and you read the terms of use, for example, Facebook and so. Raise your hand. One hand, two hand, second hand. Third, oh, this is record. Fourth hand, because usually it's only one hand or two hands. And once there was the one hand, and when I blinked my eyes, the one hand had disappeared. Maybe the person noticed that she was the only one, and she was as a shy Finn, and she didn't wanted to have any attention. Yesterday, when I flew here, I had time to think about what I'm going to talk today, and also about my career. When I started in the government communications 2009. I couldn't imagine that 10 years later we are discussing the topics like this. And we need to think about how we are protecting our societies and our democracy for external attacks. And I remember 2009, I worked at the Finnish police, and we opened our first social media profile on Facebook. We even discussed that should we open a profile in MySpace. That was still a thing. It went to headlines. I don't know how many requests for interviews I got, what Finnish police is doing there and so on. And the mood was very positive. Social media was seen very positively. It's a new way to communicate and connect to your audiences, and also a good way for government to communicate with the audience. We didn't think anything that someone might use it against our society. And also 2009 was it was about the time when we first saw the first clear signs of coordinated disinformation campaigns against Finland. In Russian information space started to spread lies about Finnish child welfare system. There were stories about how Finnish social workers are hunting Russian-born children and selling them to US gay couples. There were recommendations in Kremlin media that after that one shouldn't travel to Finland because then comes a Finnish social worker and takes your child away and sells that to US gay couples. That's one story. What we have seen during the past years that there are so many actors. I think one of the mistakes is that to look only one direction, think about only Russia or China or other country, and also think about the state actors, because we had just had our parliamentary elections, and what we saw that it seems that the actors were mainly domestic ones. But it seems that there's kind of a learning organization behind it. If people are learning from each other, they're using exactly the same methods and tools than, for example, state actors are doing. It could be your next door neighbor drinking beer and has nothing to do. And then he starts trolling and harassing online. And from the social media's dark market, you can even hire a bot network at your disposal. It's very cheap. And I've heard that you can even get a help desk service if you need. Sometimes I have got the feeling that I'm kind of an angel of darkness when I appear on the stage, because I'm only seeing the dark side of the social media nowadays. I remember half a year ago, I participated in one government agency organized social media training for its employees. And before me, there was a communications consultant. She was very positive and jumping around, and social media is fun. Your senses are brighter, and your life gets better when you participate in social media and so on. And then I came. It was during the winter time, and if you know, Finnish winters are very dark. So I was very pale. I was very tired. I wore a black suit. And then I started to talk about the dark sides of the social media, about online harassment and so on. And after I finished my speech, then I felt that the people were depressed. And hopefully they still participate in the social media, because I tried to soften it by saying that social media is fun. Join, do it, yes, yes. Okay, 20 minutes is a really short time for me. I'm used to talk quite a lot, even though I'm a Finn. And the best feedback I have received was that it's an amazing guy, that he can speak same time while he's inhaling and exhaling. Yeah. And in fact, that now you might think that now this guy has lost his mind. But really, even though Danes are claiming Santa Claus is coming from Finland, because where do I know? Because it's online. Santa is coming from Finland. I was really asked about this question. An Italian journalist interviewed me last June, and she asked that is the Santa Claus Finland's biggest fake news to the world? That was I was surprised by the question, and first I thought that, oh God, what should I answer? The TV camera was in front of me. I said, well, the Santa is real. Santa is basing his or her decisions on facts, and of course the presents he or she is giving, they are real. And of course Santa tries to guide people to do good things, so he's a good person. And if you're talking about fake news, their aim is to harm, and Santa is not, and he is from Finland. And I've also reminded that when I'm standing in front of the audience, that as a government official, civil servant, that it should not give an impression that this is only a government problem. What we have seen during the past years is that the whole society has been targeted. Journalists have been harassed, civil servants. We are talking quite a lot today in Finland about targeting, so coordinated actions against one civil servant. It's the easiest way to attack an organization, is by attacking, by attacking an individual worker there. And also, as I said, there are several actors. And if you are looking at the list over there, so these are quite important issues for a society, especially trust. If you don't have trust in our societies, then what's left? And this is how we have, I'm sorry, there is a Finnish, it's the government communications guidelines. A couple of years ago, we updated our communication guidelines, and we wanted to say something about information influence activities, as we call it in Finland. We wanted to remind the people that it's not only fake news of disinformation or misinformation which is used. Also, facts are tools. They are just used very strategically. And also, the aim in this activity is to make us do very stupid decisions without we even realize it. As I mentioned, we have adopted kind of 360 degrees approach to deterring threats, and it has proven to be the correct one. We are not looking only state actors. And for example, if you look at the geographic position of Finland, Russia is our neighbor. We have 1,300 kilometers joint border with Russia, and because of our history, so there have been times when there have been some tensions, war between our countries, and so on. So usually the question is that, for example, before the elections, I got several journalists asked me that, are you expecting Russia to interfere in our elections? And they didn't believe when I say that, no, that we are not looking only Russia, we are looking also other actors, because our society is targeted as a whole. Magic button. Yeah. And personal note to Google, you really have to twist your algorithms, because my daughter was watching children's videos on YouTube a couple of months ago, and suddenly she shouted, "Dad, come here." And there are the related videos part. And between those children's videos, there was a video where I'm talking in one event about these issues. So I don't think that maybe I'm so funny that the algorithm thinks that this is aimed for children. But yeah, yes. And I think this is universal. It's not only Finland. We have seen, when we have been discussing with other partner countries, we have heard the same stories. The same techniques are used. Of course, the messages are a little bit different and tailor-made. But yeah, and reinterpreting history. For example, in Russia, there's been stories that 1939, it's unclear that who did start the Winter War, the Second War. Did Finland attack Soviet Union or attack Soviet Union? Even Foreign Minister Lavrov, it's unclear. He even proposed that Finland and Russia should have a joint history commission to investigate that who in fact did start the war. Yeah, but that's... And seeing the whole society is targeted. Then there are the organizations, but individual workers. And for example, before our parliamentary elections, me and my colleagues, we traveled around the country to train civil servant election officials. We met with journalists, we briefed them, and then of course we met political candidates. And the stories we heard, they were a kind of eye-opener, because when I'm working at the government palace in the heart of Helsinki, we are living in a kind of bubble. We are talking with fancy terms about hybrid threats and reflexive control and so on. but at the end there is the individual who is sitting in his or her couch, and he or she doesn't have any idea how social media is work and what social media is all about, what are algorithms, the basic, so we are in big trouble. And for example, there are harassment and persecution, as I said, targeted at single individual, family member and organization. In the picture there is a Finnish journalist, Jessica Aro. Someone might know her. What she did, she was among the first journalists internationally who wrote a quite extensive story about the Russian troll factory in St. Petersburg. And immediately she got attacked. And the story is still continuing. And the Helsinki District Court made an important decision a little while ago. 3 internet trolls was convicted of systematic defamation against her. And the stories I've heard how this has been conducted, this is real cruel. Even family members have been targeted. And so, for example, they have been posting, of course, fake news about the family. They have reported family to, for example, to police and so on. So it's not only happening online, it's also in physical world. And I think also one mistake is to think if this kind of disinformation campaigns, that it's only happening online, that's a mistake. For example, during our parliamentary election, the neo-Nazis were delivering leaflets. They had stolen the political parties' logos, and they had created fake election ads, for example. One of my colleagues went, when she went home, she found one of those leaflets in her mailbox. So it's happening there also. And undermining confidence. And as I mentioned, it's both online and in physical environments. And the Finnish way. Finland, if you think 100 years ago, 150 years ago, Finland was very poor. Child mortality rate was very high. People were very illiterate. Finland was part of Russia. Finland was not independent. But our ancestors, they did a wise move. They saw and they thought that the best way for Finland to succeed and survive as a nation in the world and compete there is education. That's why it was important to educate people. And if you look at different kind of rankings, Finland is doing very well. A couple of days ago, World Freedom Index was published, and Finland, together with, if I remember, Sweden and Denmark, held the first position. So, the happiness, yeah. They say that we are the most happiest country, but we didn't believe that. There were stories in Finland saying, no way, I'm not happy. I'm the only sad one. I'm the only sad one, and and also media literacy. Finland ranks number 1. And I'm quite sure that you don't know that man, Anders Chydenius. He lived a couple of 100 years ago. But in fact, he's a Finn. Finland was part, at the time, Sweden. And he saw a problem. He was a priest. Because Finland was part of Sweden and Finland was governed from Stockholm. So it was a problem because we didn't know what Stockholm is, what kind of decisions Stockholm is making. So he is the father of the world's first publicity act because of that reason. Of course, Swedes claim that he's a Swede, but he's from Finland. And also, the right picture, President Putin and Trump visited Finland last year. The biggest newspaper, Helsingin Sanomat, bought around Helsinki, put advertisements, especially along the route the presidents were driving. They were in Cyrillic letters, and this was not the only message. So when President Trump and Putin rode around Helsinki, they saw these advertisements. Even at Helsinki airport, there was, Mr. President, welcome to the land of free press. And I think that was a really good move. And well, this is not the most visualized PowerPoint slide I have seen, but the Finnish society enjoys high level on trust. And we should not take it for granted. As I spoke, it has been challenged in many ways during the past years. And these are the basics why the Finnish society has been so resilient to disinformation. It's not what me and my colleagues are doing, it's that the basic foundations of our society, even though there are problems in the Finnish society, still people feel that they have a say in society, they have future perspective, they have job, and so on. And still, according to different polls, Finns don't trust social media. They trust traditional media. But still, there is a trend that's going down, and we should be worried about, but still Finland ranks the #1. And here is our message. It's a good general education and media literacy. And our society is open and inclusive. And we are doing a lot of cooperation. Silos are expensive hobby. Silos are expensive business. For a small country, we don't have that kind of luxury that we could do. The Second World War showed us that in order to survive, we need to do cooperation. We are doing quite a lot of cross-governmental cooperation, and also we are doing a lot of cooperation with the foreign states, for example. And we have one of the best education systems in the world. Education is free, equal access is a constitutional right, and teaching is a highly respected profession. And university studies are free of cost for EU. The only fee you have to pay is the student union fee, but you get the free healthcare. And it's about, if I remember right, 80 euros per year, not much. And it's not only government who's doing this. It's, even though it's strongly state-funded, there are also many other actors. Media literacy and media education have been part of our official school curricula since the 1970s. And it was included in pre-education in 2016. When my little daughter was at kindergarten, they already used tablets, whether they were iPads or something else. And the teachers, while they were playing, the teachers told about what media is and so on. Media companies are doing it. Also, children are visiting media companies. They are doing news and learn how to do news. I remember when I was at school and back in the 80s, we talk about media. What is media? How news are produced and so on. And in fact, libraries are important. They are everywhere. The right-hand picture is taken from the in fact, on the Norwegian side of the border. There is a joint library bus going also in the Finnish side of the border and on the Norwegian side of the border. And the right picture is from the new Helsinki City Library, Oodi, which has received quite a lot of attention. Oodi has been open less than a year, and it has attracted more than 2 million visitors already. And the first line of defense is kindergarten and kindergarten teacher. And in fact, real-life heroes are the teachers and the Finnish media. They are doing a very important job to informing people and educating people. And we should remind that always. And then if you are thinking about security, we have the old concept called comprehensive security. It means that security is not only government's task, instead that we are doing a lot of cooperation. For example, media companies in Finland, even though they are competitors, they are doing cooperation when they are discussing about preparedness and security related, how to counter fake news, for example, together. And what we have done, we have tried to raise awareness. We have exposed propaganda structures, and I think that's the best way to do. We are not opinion police. We are not government is not fact checker. Instead, informing people, networking, supporting others. I think that our role is more to be in the background. And why am I using snowy beach? Yeah, and I'm going to remind that every country should find their own ways to counter disinformation. This is our way we have found, and it's based on the strength of our society. It's the way the Finnish society is. It is said that the Finns are very shy. They want to keep distance between each other. And this is really a picture. There was a major snowstorm in Helsinki. And if you look at people, they're waiting for a bus. I don't know if there are 2 meters or 1 meter between every. They're really keeping the distance. And the right-hand picture, I took it because it's an old library bus. The picture was taken in 1970s. There is a municipality called Kirkkonummi. You don't have to pronounce it. And whether that's a driver who tries to get the library bus moving or this angry customer, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, CNN published an extensive story about how we are winning the war on fake news. One of my colleagues once said that he thought that we have won the first round, and I said that I didn't agree because I don't see that there are any first or second or third round. This is an ongoing game, and it's going to be much harder in the future for us to fight against. If you think about deepfakes just around the corner, so it will be really difficult in the future, and we must need to be ready. And I'm flying today evening back to Helsinki, and you know what I'm going to do. According to President Trump, Finland rakes its forest as routines for wildfire management. Then a Finnish Pyro Luminen posted back, just an ordinary day in the Finnish forest, vacuum cleaning the forest. And that went viral. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes, exactly 20 minutes. Yes. Okay, thank you.